because you were more active than him.
What to do?
Blink.
Blink, blink. Since the Devata sits opposite the house, the mood of the Devata is seen from the planets opposite the house. This is the true meaning of Dwara, where if the Devata agrees, it will open one's door to the entire world. So when I explained that the seventh from the Ruda is where the Devata sits, it has also another meaning. The mood of the Devata is also seen from there. Now let me explain more. Draw the Kala Chakra with the Devata and the Vahana. For example, Durga rides a lion. Thus the lion is seen in the 10th house, which Durga is riding. Therefore, Ruda Lagna in 10th house makes the person very brave and a good fighter, like a lion. If you know the Devata, then you have to just research and find the vehicle. Like Agni, who's he riding? He rides a goat. Ganesha rides a mouse. Saraswati rides...
Kubera rides a man.
Is Kubera in this list of Titis? No. Saraswati rides? A swan. Correct. The Hamsa. Who is the Hamsa? The Atma. The Hamsa is the Atma. Hamsa Om Soham. The word for swan is Hamsa. Maya is smiling. I'm sorry, Yami is smiling. Because you remember now that yesterday I said if you put Hamsa in the beginning of a mantra and Soham in the end, it's supposed to enlighten and kindle the mantra. Now she knows what's really happening. Saraswati will ride your mantra. If you do that. So if you're doing the mantra, Om Hreem Shreem Kleem Ishanaya Namah, you must add Hamsa in the beginning and Soham in the end. And it becomes Hamsa Om Hreem Shreem Kleem Ishanaya Namah Soham. Okay? This is done for 1 year. 1 year sadhana, then the mantra will be sitting in your soul. And it's good. Jyotish will always sit there. This last part makes sense, right? Okay, who else? Saraswati rides the Hamsa, the swan. And Kartikeya, he rides?
Peacock.
Peacock, correct. Sun. Sun. Who does he ride? Which has 7 horses. Ashvaruda. Horses. White horses. So write horse for sun. Krishna. Who does he ride?
Garuda.
Who? Garuda. Vishnu rides Garuda. So Vishnu you'll put Garuda. It depends on which Krishna you're talking about. If it's Krishna avatar, he will ride the peacock. If it's Krishna in the Sudhamrita Chakra, he will ride Kamadenu. Kamadenu.
What is this?
Who's Kamadenu? Remember the cow? When he plays his flute, the cow who is next to him. Rama, who will he ride? Hanuman. He rides Hanuman. Then Durga, we know, the lion. Then Lakshmi, who does she ride? Elephants, yes. There's one version, another version says an owl. Both versions are there. You should write both. Elephant or owl. Vishnu is the next one. He rides Garuda. Then we come to Lagna, Trayodashi Titi, 13th Titi, Agni. He rides the goat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shiva's next, 14th Titi, second house. He rides Nandi the bull. So Taurus is the second house and it's the bull. Relax, Yami. Now, don't get excited. Now, 15th Titi, Kali or Satyanarayan. Satyanarayan, he rides the sun. Kali rides a dead body. Shavaruda, her name is. We call her by Shavaruda. Okay. All right. Good. Now, next slide. All objects and events are manifested through the Aruda. Therefore, draw your own chart with Arudas and ascertain the Devata riding each Aruda. So you should make a list from A1 to A12, from Aruda Lagna to Upapada. See which house it's in and find out which Devata is riding that Aruda. Based on those titis that you know now, which house it's in is which Aruda, right? Then you find the animal, which I've given now, and you find the Devata. Worship that Devata to make the Aruda manifest. I've given an example of book writing. Let's say you want to change your career. Aruda of 10th house. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever the Aruda of 10th house is, let's say my Aruda 10th house is in Lagna. So I worshipped Agni for Lagna. Aruda of 10th house could fall in, let me think, 12th house. Can it? It can. Who will you worship? Vishnu riding Garuda. You have to be specific, however. It has to be Vishnu. So what will you do? Every night you will lie down flat, you will say Om Vishnave Namah, and your Aruda will manifest in the morning. It will. 12th house, sleep. Sleep. 12th house. Vishnu, sleep. I'm not kidding.
His ma 18 is in 12th house.
Yours is in 12th house. Oh, very good.
Oh, Shanana.
Sleep nicely. Sleep happily. Sleep happily. Do Vishnu mantra at night before sleeping. Aruda is awakened in the morning.
Yes.
Ah, what?
Mine is an 8.
Yours is an 8. So how will you worship? 8th house is?
Oh, just
In the bathroom.
8th house. Which Titi? Ashtami. Who's worshipping on Ashtami?
Krishna.
Krishna. Krishnaya Namah. And the Aruda manifests. Good. 8th house, right? Hrim Bejas for 8th house, isn't it? Oh, I see.
So we can do it with Bijas as well.
You can do Navakari Bija, yes. Navakari solves everything. Okay, now this is my chart. Now I've given you all the clues already. Can you find the Aruda of my 3rd house?
So 7.
See that?
Yes.
3rd house is Capricorn. Lord is Saturn.
No,
From
no.
here to Saturn
Nine,
is 9.
9.
So we count 9 there from. That is Taurus.
So,
It's the 7th house from Lagna. So 8-3 is in 7th house. Devata of 7th house? Surya.
Surya.
So I worship Surya for making my book be published. I did, as you can see. I even made sure that he was on the front page. Ah. So I give this only 9 minutes. Okay. You applied this to Lagna, didn't you? This Devata chakra you did from Lagna, correct? Mm-hmm. You can also do it from Aruda Lagna. Then 1st house from Aruda Lagna becomes Agni. Second house from Arudha Lagna becomes
Shiva.
Shiva. Third is Kali or Satyadeva. Fourth from Arudha Lagna is Ganesh. Good. Now I am concerned with first and seventh from Arudha Lagna. First and seventh. Who is first house from Arudha Lagna? Brihaspati Agni, correct. Who is seventh house from Arudha Lagna? Surya. This is what will happen. See, in this person's chart, this person who we have here, his Lagna is in Sagittarius. The Lord of Sagittarius is Jupiter, and it's placed in Virgo. We know that if it's in the 4th or 10th, the Arudha will fall in the 4th house. So his Arudha Lagna is over here. It says AL. Now, do you think it's nice to have Venus, Rahu and Saturn on the Arudha Lagna? No. Saturn, definitely not. Venus and Rahu we can just deal with. Saturn, definitely not. Let's say he says he wants to become a teacher. So maybe we can shift his Arudha Lagna to this Jupiter and Ketu, right? Is this more attractive?
Yes.
Maybe he is a teacher of some spiritual subject. Jupiter, Ketu Yoga, Parampara Yoga. So how do we ensure it goes here? There are only 2 planets here and there are 3 over there. So this is stronger, by all means. So to make this stronger, we have to use some remedies. It won't be stronger by nature. Now, Jupiter, Ketu. So Arudha Lagna is over here. So this is like Agni, correct? And this is like Surya. So this Venus, Rahu and Saturn are behaving like Agni, and this Jupiter, Ketu is behaving like Surya. Okay? What if I say to this Arudha over here, no, behave as if this is Agni and that is Surya. That's reverse, correct? This was Agni. What if I say this is Agni? How to do that? Jupiter's there. So he must worship Agni as if Jupiter is Agni. There are some ways to do this. He was given the Agni Bija of Jupiter, and this changed the Arudha to have Jupiter in Arudha Lagna. You should see Arudha Lagna, should read there. Can you understand that? Right now, Venus, Rahu and Saturn are acting as if they're Agni. But if I say Jupiter, now you behave like Agni, then the Arudha must go over here. Because this is where Agni must sit on the Arudha. Right? Stop me if it's unclear.
You do that just by adding the form of Agni to be for Jupiter.
Do you understand what I'm trying to do?
If you
I'm trying to say, now Jupiter is on the Arudha Lagna.
Okay,
And if Jupiter has to be on the Arudha Lagna, it's as if Jupiter is Agni on the Arudha Lagna. And then these Venus, Rahu and Saturn have to become Surya in 7th from Arudha Lagna. So I have 2 options. Either I say Venus as Surya, or Rahu as Surya, or Saturn as Surya. Venus as Surya is? You learned some names the other day? Ravi, Surya, the sun god. Venus as, if you're Venus as Lagna Lord, then you'll worship Ravi. Rahu as Lagna Lord, you'll worship Bhaga. Saturn as Lagna Lord, you'll worship Varuna. So also, I can make these fellows behave like Surya. If I do that, then Arudha Lagna cannot sit anymore. He has to go there because Surya is always in 7th from Arudha Lagna. And Agni is always joined Arudha Lagna. So I can also say, not Surya, but I can say, okay, Agni. Jupiter's Agni is, you don't know. I didn't teach you. There's this Agni Bija. There are various Agni Bijas, forms of Agni to worship. Basically the various tongues of Agni. And the one which is the form of Jupiter, you can do Stum Bija. Stum. We say that? Stum. 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 Or Stum. Stum. Say that. Put Agni on your tongue. Stum. 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 Now Jupiter will come and sit on your tongue. Agni has a tongue. This is the tongue of Jupiter. Jupiter Agni. You say Stum, Jupiter will sit on your tongue and you will speak like Jupiter. You will speak the Vedas, speak Jyotish, everything. He did that. So Arudha Lagna would sit here. And now his Venus, Saturn, Rahu sitting over there. Interesting. You can reverse Arudas using this. Correct? He had to do it. Obviously, if a person is trying to become a teacher and this is hanging on their Aruda, all sorts of crooks will hang around you. Okay? It's not very nice also. Nothing is in Lagna. Fourth house from Lagna is malefics. Remember we talked about first and fourth house. Head and heart. That's not very nice. So it's good if we could reverse it so he will reject that.
But will it not always oscillate between the two?
It will. What is your criteria for choosing which graha? If there are grahas in the sign, use them. If there are none, see drishti. You can see drishti. But in this case, all of them are having aspect on the same, right? So in this case, if you had no planets in either signs and you had drishti from here, they're both aspecting both signs, correct? Then you can use lordship instead. Like Mercury is the lord of this sign. Or Jupiter's lord of this sign. Planets there will dominate first. Based on that you can advise. Now I recommend for you, don't play with Agni yet. I'll teach you Agni on second year. I'll teach you all his bijas and how to remember them by heart. You know Surya now. You have a list, table of Surya. You want to shift somebody's Abruda? Put Surya in 7th house. With that form of Surya over there. So here I mentioned we wanted Venus and Saturn and Rahu to be in 7th. So we'll make them Surya. So Venus, Ravi, Om Ravaye Namah. Rahu, Bhaga, Om Bhagaya Namah. Saturn, Om Varunaya Namah.
So, should this chart owner chant all this mantra all lifelong for this one?
He can do it before Dasha. He can do it when the Dasha is bad also. Like a Dasha is trying to shift his Aruda.
Or just sometime?
You do it like 40 days at least.
It is done then. No change.
No change
All
after
done.
that. No, a Dasha may come later on which will say, for example, let's assume I shift this Aruda here. And it works. He's been a teacher, he's doing studying. 10th house means organization. Organization's working fine. Everything is nice and cool and fine. And then one day Rahu Antardasha comes, or Saturn Antardasha comes, or Venus Antardasha comes. Then say, no, there's a problem. Start this again. Start this mantra again, because otherwise the Aruda will shift back to here. So, okay?
Normal being solitary taşımışsın.
Yeah, normal.
Not Utpana.
No, normal. Will work just fine for, because moon is all about Arudas. Clear?
What if you have like an Aruda Pada of some sort, and then you have moon in 12th from that? Does it mean that that Pada will not function properly?
It means it is it's being defeated. It is not able to manifest in this world.
It's like for instance, this person, this chart, he has moon in Karka, and Aruda of 9th house, 11th house, 11th and 7th house, and second from there.
Yeah.
Does it mean that with regards to 11th house issues and 7th house issues, it is not functioning properly?
Yes. I'll soon tell you what A7 really is. In like next class. Maybe not right next one, but soon.
If you're switching a Ruda position like that, doesn't that mean that you can, with this Agni mantra, position Aruda wherever you like?
Yes. But we only do first 7th.
Only for 7,
Only
you
first.
cannot go all the way around, no?
Alone this one first 7th is a crazy change. It's completely crazy what you're doing. You're saying, look, what is Aruda? Your friends, your mother, your father, your teachers, your colleagues, workplace, where you're living even. In his case it's in 4th house, also living place. Change it. That's what you're doing when you say change Aruda. Change it. You don't like it, change it.
That meter still looks to me very much like Rahu and Arudalana.
Hey, These three dashas will do that to him.
He's really into people.
These three dashas will do that, okay? They will do that. What to do? What to do? I mean, you cannot completely leave them anyway.
Who's
It's a
the guy?
process.
Older brother of Jennifer Aniston, because it's almost the same.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed
yeah,
with
yeah.
Jennifer Aniston, sorry, but
Yes.
it looks like it's a couple of days before her.
Yes, yes. Now, understand. Understand. Shifting the Aruda is very difficult. It can be good for you, but the process can be quite painful. And by the way, who says you are going to shift it? The dasha can shift it. And the problem is when the dasha shifts it, you don't decide. If you are going to have a good life, you should decide, right? You shouldn't let the dasha take your Aruda for a 6. Just take it and run away. No. Stealing your Aruda and say, I'm going to put it over here. No. That's why we need remedies.